chapter number 18. And this is the chapter is titled as the conclusion. Final, it's like a final conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. So Lord Krishna already spoke the Bhagavad Gita and finished it in chapter 17. And in 18, he will do a conclusion, final conclusion, and give its verdict. And there are some verses which are very important in this. Also, this is the one of the biggest chapter. I think, in fact, the largest. It has 78 verses. The second largest is chapter 2, which also has 72. So 6 verses more than chapter 2. Okay. Okay. But we are not gonna do each and every verse by verse because we are doing a summary study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we'll just see the main verses. So in the last class, we discussed about the faith. One second. Let's see. Okay. So last class, we did the chapter known as the faith, the divisions of faith, which is chapter number 17. Yep, divisions of faith. And we discussed how the modes of nature, which are goodness, passion, ignorance, sattva-guna, rajoguna, tamaguna, they affect everyone. Anyone who is in the material world, that means he is affected by these three modes. Actually, these three modes are the binding or binds one to the material world. The moment one gets freed from these three modes, he becomes eligible to go back to the spiritual world. As simple as that. So the fact that we still are here shows that we are also affected by these three modes. Okay. And everything, whether it could be worship, work, habits, behavior, everything is impacted by these three modes. And there were different characteristic of someone who is in mode of goodness, someone who is in passion, someone who is in ignorance. All that is defined in chapter 17. And accordingly, faith is also divided into three modes. That's why you will see some people are atheists, they don't believe anything. Some people believe in demigod worship. Some people believe in what you call impersonalist, like God does not have any form. Say some God is like light. So different beliefs because their faiths are different. And why faiths are different? Because they are impacted by different modes. Okay. And we also discussed that Krishna Bhakti or Vishnu Bhakti or Ram Bhakti, Krishna Bhakti, right? Which is the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. It transcends these three modes. It goes beyond these three modes. It doesn't fall even into the goodness. Definitely, it's not in passion or ignorance. It is transcendental, and it has its own category. It's called pure goodness, Shuddh Sattva, which transcends these three modes, and one does not get any material credits for this devotional service. The reason why a living being or a jiva is in the material world is because he's in the cycle of karma bandhan. Whatever he does, good, bad, he has to come back to bear the fruits or results of his karma. Karma is the chief here. And only in human species also, another thing is only in human form, one gets this karma bandhan. In all other species, there is no karma bandhan. For example, in animal species, no karma bandhan. If a tiger kills a deer or kills anyone, there is no sin for tiger. Same in the upper species, in the species of Devi, Devta, demigods, there is no karma bandhan. So those are bhog. It's only the human species where we acquire karma and the results of karma, and then we have to come back. So we already discussed, we'll discuss once more karma, but if a devotee, not, if a jiva does more of a pious karma, he gets better material lives, better life, like he may born in a very rich family, get reputation, all that, or he may go up in the planets of Indra, like that. And same if he does a lot of bad things, he may go down, go to the hellish planets, and eventually end up in plant kingdom or aquatics or like Wherever he ends up, he has to again go in that evolution cycle. One by one, it will take him several lifetimes to again attain the human form. So that is how this whole thing is already working. But only thing which can get rid of the past karma is the bhakti. So devotional service is independent of everything. It does not depend on anything. It does not depend on our past pious karmas also. It's independent, completely independent. Okay? And it has the power to burn all the results of our past karmas. Only bhakti can do that. Nothing else can do that. No demigod has that power. Nothing. Nobody has that power to take away the sins. Okay, now let's look at this chapter number 18. Few verses are important. So one thing is, this is for us, text 5, where Krishna says that Yan Yagna Dan Tapa Karma Natyajyam Karyam Evatat. So which means Yagna means sacrifice, fire sacrifice, or Dan charity, Tapaha means penance, Karma means activity. So these four things, Natyajyam, Na means no, never, Tyajam means to be given up. These four things one should never give up. ये करना ही करना है अगर है तो. This Krishna is saying this must be the karyam certainly. Okay, because they purify the great souls. क्यों करना है? क्योंकि यज्ञो दानम तपस चैव पावनानि मनीषिणाम. Pavanani means purifying. They purify the even the great souls. So acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even the great souls. And this 100% applies to us because we are in the Grihastha householder. So charity has to happen. Some penance also we need to do. Like tomorrow is a Ekadashi. So this is a penance. Like we have to fast. So these are the penance which are favorable for devotional service. The penance or sacrifice which is for political reason, that is prohibited. For example, sometimes people do anshan. I will not eat for 10 days because of this cause, social cause, this cause, that cause. That is prohibited. That is not recommended by the scriptures. Penance only should be done for the pleasure of Supreme Lord or for devotional service. Okay. Similarly, yagna also, the yagna purush, like the benefactor of yagna is Lord Krishna Vishnu. Whether it would be any yagna, right? Fire sacrifice, any yagna. So those are the main things. Other thing is, did we discuss Venkat? This prescribed duties also should never be renounced. Because if one gives up prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in mode of ignorance. So prescribed duties.
I missed last class actually.
Yeah, we did these ones.
No, I missed last class.
Oh, you missed. Okay. Got it. Okay, no worries. I just get a feeling that we discussed, but anyway, no problem. Okay, so main thing is prescribed duties should be done. For example, Grihastha has the prescribed duty to earn, right? To raise the family. Now, one cannot leave that duty just because it's troublesome or it's not working or whatever. It has to be done, but without attachment. That is the key. One should do his duty, and that is in the mode of goodness. When one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, then his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. Okay. Now, the most important verse which I want to say is Lord Krishna says in human life, there are 5 factors which are the cause of any action. So whatever action we do, as simple as going from sitting in our car and going to the destination to our office, as simple as that, or doing anything. 5 factors are always there. So we should always know that there are 5 karta. Karta means the doers. Okay, we are not the doers. There are 5 factors, karta, which are always there. We should know that we are not the ones which who are in control. Okay, 4 factors are within are performed by us. The place of action, which is the body, because without body we can't perform any action, right? So the body, the performer is the soul, we. Then the various senses. If we don't have senses, if we don't have hands, legs, eyes, ears, we can't perform any action. Like, so senses are also plays a role. And then the endeavor. So when we do any work in the mind, we visualize how this has to be done. For example, today we have to go to, let's say, example, in this park for book distribution. So the planning has happened already in the mind, right? We will do this thing, this thing, this thing. So this endeavor has to be there. Without endeavor, no work can happen. Some endeavor has to happen. Okay. Uh, endeavor means chesta. In Hindi, we say, right, chesta. Endeavor has to happen. So those 4 things are with us, meaning the body is given to us to perform action. We are the soul, the performer. Then we have also been provided with various senses, which facilitates us to perform action, to karma, and then also endeavor. If you don't have any endeavor, then the action will not take place. But final thing is the super soul, ultimately the super soul. This is the 5th factor and the sanctioning factor. If there is no sanction from super soul, from Krishna, then we may perform any action, but the action will not result in success. So the actions which are sanctioned by super soul results in action, in success. Okay. So the final sanctioning authority is the super soul, who is seated in everyone's heart and sanctions or approves or disapproves any action. So these are the 5 factors of action one should always remember. And so that if whatever we are doing, if it results in failure, there is nothing to worry about. We should always think Lord has a better plan, right? And he has a better plan for us. And I think I gave this example of, I think we discussed this in last class also, about Srila Prabhupada. Like, Krishna did not want Prabhupada to be successful in India in the preaching. That's why he spent almost 20-25 years, from late 50s till 65. And he did not get any success in India because Krishna did not fulfill. Krishna wanted a bigger plan for him. Like, he wanted him to come to the West and the preaching should start from here. And then when he went back to India, he was so successful in India also. And today we see how ISKCON is there. Like, it's like flourishing in India, more than 300, 400 temples all over India, biggest than anywhere in the world, right? But in the beginning, Prabhupada could not do it because Krishna has a better plan for him. So that's what we have to always think, like in life. If there are failures, then we say always don't get depressed or dejected. Just keep doing our karma, and maybe Krishna has a better plan. He did not want me to succeed in this one, so move on next. So keep doing. Okay. So that is the main one, and this also applies to everyone. Students sometimes study very hard. In India, I've seen like students are studying so hard, particularly in grade 11, 12, to get into the competitive exams, entrance exams, and sometimes they are not successful. That doesn't mean that they are the failure. It's just that Krishna did not approve or did not sanction. But there are better. Sometimes they get better things in life. So nothing to be worried about. Because the result is not in our hand. It's in the hands of Lord Krishna. Okay. I see Deepti ji joining. Thanks for joining, Aparna ji. Thanks for joining. So So whatever, see, Krishna says, even whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these five factors. So these five factors comes whether the action is right or wrong, and the man or the individual is responsible for his action. That much intelligence Krishna has given to us, and that's why we are better than animals. Like animals have not given that intelligence, right, wrong, and that's why this karma does not apply to animals. Okay, it does not apply to animal species. It's only in the human species where we have a karma, because we have given better facility, better intelligence to decide what is wrong, what is right, and so one should not feel that, or should cannot blame Lord God for any of the results. It's human, it's the individual who is responsible. And sometimes there is collective karma also comes when your karma is complicated, it's entangled. Sometimes we get the reaction in this life for the things which we may have done it in many previous lives. We can't say why and what. It's difficult to understand. And but one thing for sure, that Lord is not partial to anyone, he's impartial, and he's perfect. He cannot make mistakes, and nothing happens by chance, right? Because he's perfect. So whatever happens in our lives is right or wrong, is all depend on our past karmas. And nobody, like, Lord's plan is so perfect, there is no mistake in the plan. Nothing happens by chance. Okay, by chance this person met with an accident, or this person has got this disease. It's not by chance. It has its connection to our previous karma. Okay. And Krishna says that one who thinks only himself as the doer, who does not consider these five factors, who thinks that I am in charge, I am the controller, yeah, I will make this plan, then certainly he is not very intelligent, and he does not see things as they are. He's simply in illusion. Okay. So like that, he discussed more about that one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, but he does not kill. He's giving the example of soldier, like Prabhupada gives. Soldier, when he works, when he's on the battlefield, he kills so many people from the opposite enemy side, but then he doesn't get any reaction because he's working. He's totally doing that for the country, right? So he's not bound by his actions. However, if he comes home and he's not in uniform and not on the service, and if he kills someone, then he's liable to get punished. Okay, so that is the thing. So if someone does anything, work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, then there is no reaction. So Krishna was asking Arjun to fight and kill. There was no reaction, nothing to worry, because it was approved by him. Okay, he had anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of Super Soul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though killing does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the reaction of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, he is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, he is certainly judged by a court of law. Okay, so this is the important thing to remember, that every action we have five factors, and one, the safest thing is to always work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. That is the key message, and then we will always be safe. We will never get a reaction. Okay, now let me go further. So he, in this further section, he keeps on explaining about how different knowledge is in mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness, even determination. Okay, so this is yeah. Okay, this one is good one. So that which is in the beginning maybe just like poison, but the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. Okay, so anything which we do in the self-realization, on the path of self-realization, which is the path of bhakti, where we awaken our real self, it may act as a poison in the beginning. Why? Because you have to give up so many things which are detrimental. For example, there are few rules and regulation, four regulative principles. So one has to give up. It may act as a poison, but at the end it will end like a nectar, right? Because we will taste the transcendental nectar, the nectar which will come out of later from the act of performing devotional service. And when one tastes that real nectar, then he won't go back to his previous life, even though he may be given a chance. He will not go back to that material life because he has tasted the higher taste. So once he begins to drink the real nectar, then he starts enjoying. So it may look poison in the beginning, but then it's nectar. Okay, so that's one. And then he says that happiness, which is derived from contact of senses with their objects, like sense objects, like any happiness which is a material happiness which we derive from the contact of senses with their sense objects, it will appear like nectar at the beginning. In the beginning it will feel oh so good, but it will end as a poison at the end. So this kind of happiness is said to be in the mode of passion. Okay, which will act like a uh, nectar in the beginning, but it will have. Oh, when Prabhupada gives a very practical example, a young man and woman meet, and the senses drive the young man to see her, to touch her, and to have sexual intercourse. In the beginning, this may be very pleasing to the senses, but at the end or after some time, it becomes just like poison. Because if their relationship is only based on sense gratification and attraction, so there would be very soon separation. So they are separated, or there is a divorce, there is lamentation, there is sorrow, etc. Such happiness is always in the mode of passion. Happiness derived from a combination of the senses and sense object is always a cause of distress and should be avoided by all means. Okay. And the next one is, which is the poison in the beginning and poison at the end also. So that is the happiness which is in the mode of ignorance. So the happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep. These kind of happiness, which someone derives happiness by sleeping, like sleeping 12 hours, 14 hours, laziness, illusion. This kind of happiness is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Okay, sometimes you will hear people too lazy, like they don't want to do anything, just sleeping. They derive pleasure in taking sleep. Sleep is only required to recharge the body to perform action next day, but one should not sleep too much because that will make one lethargic, lazy, and he will be acting in the mode ignorance. Okay, one who takes pleasure in laziness and sleep is certainly in the mode of darkness, ignorance, and one who has no idea how to act and how not to act is also in the mode of ignorance. So sleep, taking pleasure in sleeping, happiness is in the lowest of the modes. Other statement, Krishna says that there is no being existing either here or even in the assembly of demigods or among the demigods in the higher planetary system, which is freed from these three modes, which is born of material nature. So everyone is, as I was saying, influenced by these three modes, and these four modes act as a binding rope which keeps the jiva, the living entity, bound to this material world. Right? The moment one is freed from these three modes and gets situated and transcends these three modes, he becomes pure devotee. He becomes pure from heart, and then he becomes eligible to go back to the spiritual world to be with Krishna or in association of Lord Krishna, one of the relationships. So that is the goal for us, to get freed from these three modes. And as I mentioned, anything which we do in Krishna consciousness is free from these three modes. So, like for example, now we are reading this Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So 1 hour we are gonna spend. We are not in these three modes. We are not captured by these three modes for this 1 hour. But the moment you step out, if you're not careful, we are again captured by these three modes. So our behavior changes. But over the period of time, by practice, by doing more practice and remaining engaged somehow or the other in the service of Krishna, then we will be freed from these three modes. So that is Krishna consciousness, changing our consciousness to be always in Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Okay, next will come in chapter 18, the qualities of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These are described. So, point to notice, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra are not based on the birth. If someone taking a birth in the Brahman family does not become automatically Brahmin, just like someone taking birth in the family of doctor does not become automatically doctor. So he has to have those qualities to be a Brahmin, and those qualities are described here. The qualities of Brahmana are main qualities: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the main qualities. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Okay, so Brahmanas will be peaceful, they will be self-controlled, perform austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, will be very honest and knowledgeable, not material knowledge. They should have, Brahmanas should have real knowledge, which is the knowledge of Supreme. They should have wisdom and religiousness. Okay? These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas. So if these qualities are there, even though a person is born in Shudra family, he should be considered as Brahman. So because Lord Krishna never created Vedic society, was not based on the birth. It's always based on the qualities. Now Kshatriya qualities here: heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership. These are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Okay? And Kshatriyas also becomes kind of an administrative class, like those who are in charge in administrative position, running the affairs of the country. People are dependent on them. So they need to have heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness. They should be courageous in battle. Generosity, where he should be generous. If someone comes at the door of Kshatriya asking for anything, he cannot refuse. He has to be generous. We had examples of this in our history. They are leaders, born leaders. These are the natural qualities of Kshatriyas. And what are the qualities of Vaishyas? Vaishyas are the mercantile community. So farming, cow protection, and business. Only three. Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijyam. Krishi means agriculture, Goraksha protecting the cows, Vanijyam means doing business. These are the natural ways work for the Vaishyas. And for the Shudras, Shudras are there to help all three classes in their day-to-day work. So they are labor and service to all others. Shudras, there are labor and service to others. Okay. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. And then Krishna will explain how this can be done. Because no matter if you're Shudra Vaishya, the moment you start worshipping the Lord, everything becomes perfect. So one does not have to change his occupation. That's why we say, like, wherever you are, just do remain. Don't try to change your material position. If you are working in a factory or if you are working in a job, if you have business, just keep doing. Just add the worship of the Lord, add the chanting of Hare Krishna, because that's what is recommended in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. By worship of Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. Okay. Important, like one does not have to change his work. All he has to do is just connect it with the Lord, and that will make him perfect. Also, it says it is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction. The main message is one should not imitate others. Oh, this particular person is getting, because he's a brahmana, he goes to different places, he's getting a lot of respect and this that, let me try to become him. If you don't have the qualities of brahmana, let just work according to one's quality, because Krishna says that it's better to engage in one's occupation based on our nature, because even if we do imperfectly, it's good. But if we accept someone else's occupation and even if we perform it perfectly, it's not good, because it's not our nature. Say here, a man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Shudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahman, although he may have been born into a Brahman family. Okay, so someone who is in a born of Brahman family, but he's attracted to the work done by Shudras, like, so he should not advertise himself. Oh, I am the caste Brahmin. That is what created problems in the society. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of Lord. This is important. No work is small or big. If one is performed in the service of Lord, every work is good. Okay. Okay, let's go on next. Another thing he said, Krishna said that every endeavor is covered by some kind of fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, even if such work is full of fault. So every endeavor in material endeavor, unfortunately, has some fault. We can't get rid of it. So one should not give up the work just because it's not perfect, it's faulty. Uh, the moment we connect and the work with Lord Krishna, it becomes automatically perfect, right? And we don't incur sin. So we want just need to mold one's life such a way that there's a chance to serve the Supreme, and then it becomes perfect. Here, Prabhupada also says same thing. When a particular type of occupation is performed for the satisfaction of Supreme Lord, all the defects in that particular occupation are purified. When the results of work are purified, when connected to devotional service, one becomes perfect in seeing the self within, and that is self-realization. Okay? Because no work is perfect. Like if someone thinks Kshatriya is good, then Kshatriyas has to kill other people. They have to remain on the battlefield for days, months. Look at how the wars are going these days. Even previously, also the wars used to. So it's not pleasant to kill someone, right? So there is fault in every works, it's a minor fault. But if one does and offer the results of one's work to the satisfaction of Supreme Lord Krishna, then all the defects are automatically purified. Okay. Okay, so this is the one. This is another one. Brahma Bhuta Prashanatma. Na shochati na kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So this is the one. Like how one can remain always happy. Then one who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So this is the characteristic of a devotee who is neither hankering. The characteristic of material world is that we lament for the things which we don't have. Oh, this person have this thing I am not having. We keep lamenting, looking at others, what others have and we don't have. And that's one. And then we keep desiring for the things which we which we want. Sorry, it's other way. Lament for the things which we have lost, right? That's lamentation. And keep desiring for the things which we are not having. And that person have this house. Why can't I have house? He has so many children, and I have don't, like, sometimes. So this complaining thing is always going on. That is the characteristic of a person. Like, he does not become happy in any situation because life is not perfect. Something is missing. Nobody has everything. But the one who is in the service of Lord, he understands this, and he becomes fully joyful and remains satisfied in whatever situation Lord has chosen him to be in. Right? So he never laments or desires to have anything. Na shokchati, na kankshati. And he's also equally disposed towards every living entity. There is no friend or enemy for him. Equally disposed to all the living entities. And that state he attains pure devotional service. Mag bhaktim labhate param. And then further Krishna says that bhaktya mam abhijanati. These are all important verses that one can only understand me through the process of devotional service. No other means. There is no other way. One can understand me as I am, the Supreme Personality of God, only by bhakti, devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Bhaktya means only my bhaktas can know me by pure devotional service. And one, when he is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. He is giving the formula to enter into the kingdom of God also. When one's consciousness becomes fully devotional, he's surcharged with Krishna consciousness fully, then he becomes eligible to enter into the kingdom of the God. No other things are helpful in this path. Like Prabhupada says, university degrees are not helpful here. You can have any number of university degrees, but that won't help you in devotional service. Okay, it's only the bhakti which is glorified here. And one can only understand Lord Krishna through bhakti. That's why you will see a lot of people keep making comments on Krishna because they don't understand. And they will never understand unless they take to the path of bhakti. So bhaktyama abhijananti yavan yas chasmi tatvata. Tatvata means in truth. Devotees can only know Lord in the truth. Because Lord chooses to reveal himself to only devotees. For non-devotees, there is a curtain of Maya which does not allow one to realize the Lord. And then further, he keeps now talking about bhakti. This is the final chapter, right? Conclusion. So after talking about all these things, different faiths, karma, everything, now he's only talking about bhakti. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode. By whose grace? By my grace. So Krishna wants one to go to the spiritual world to be with him. It's only devotees who reach that path. Because devotees establish the personal relationship, personal bond, right? So you can always see in your life also, like if someone is very close, your very close friend, you will only invite him, your close friends, to your home. If you have formal relationship or someone acquaintance, you will just meet him outside your home in office space or a coffee shop. You won't invite him at your home. And then someone may come to your home also, but very few who are your really, really close can go to all parts of your home, like your bedroom and all others, right? Same. So devotees are very, very, you can say, personal, have relationship. So Krishna makes sure that they reaches the imperishable abode by his grace. There is no other force, no other Shakti in the whole three worlds who can do that. So one can only reach Krishna Loka by his grace. And one is always under the protection, because he says, though engage in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. Okay. So let's go further. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotion service, be fully conscious of me. So this is directly saying, just depend on me. Don't depend in all activities, whatever you do in life, just depend on me, not nobody else, and just work always under my protection. I think I explained to you before, like when we go out for work in the morning, we should pray to the Lord and say, okay, I'm now stepping out in the world of Maya. Please protect me and please help me. And at the back, when in the evening, when we come back again, we say, thank you so much. You protected me and I spent another day. And thanks for that. And in the beginning, when we go, just if we chant in the morning, if we give 1 hour to Krishna, then Krishna gives us rest 23 hours. Krishna is protecting us. So, but he wants us to take that first step. He doesn't want to force us. So I say, on all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotion service, be fully conscious of me. Okay, so one should just be under the protection of the Supreme Lord and feels oneself to be subordinate to him and just work. And then as you will progress, one will see that Krishna will guide you from within. Like he guides you from within. That you will hear a voice, inner voice coming. Do this, do that way. He will give you the intelligence also. So everything he can do. He does not have to come from anywhere. He is within us. So from within only he keeps guiding the devotee on the right path. If you become conscious of me, which becomes if you are able to transform your consciousness and become Krishna conscious, then you will pass all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. A clear message. There is black and white, no in between. Either you surrender to me, you become my devotee, then you will be protected, not just here, everywhere. You will be able to cross all the obstacles of material life by my grace. But if you, however, you just choose to work on your own, false ego means thinking oneself as the doer. I am the one, and considering this body as the everything. So if you work in that kind of consciousness through false ego, not hearing what I am saying, then you will be lost. The Maya is so strong, then you will be lost. You can't overcome. Nobody can overcome Maya unless one becomes to the devotional path. Because when one becomes a devotee, then Maya, who is also the energy of the Lord, um, just releases that person. Okay, so we stop here, and then in the next class we'll finish this chapter 18.